this video we're going to be looking at codes. Some of this material has been taken from our nonverbal reasoning book, which you can find in the video description down below, alongside a free PDF for codes questions for you to try after watching this video. So let's start by taking a look at the explanation from the book. In these questions, each figure is given a group of letters. Each letter represents a feature of the figure. Codes are usually presented in two ways. You either have the code at the bottom and the shape inside, and this is usually used more when you've got like a 3-letter code or a 4-letter code, which we're going to look at in a minute. But sometimes 2-letter codes can be shown like this within the box. Essentially, it's just a different way of laying out the same thing. The question doesn't really change. If the codes contain 2 letters, there will only be 2 differences, because each letter stands for one feature of the shape. There will only be 2 differences between the figures. If the codes contain 3 letters, then there'll be 3 differences. There will always be 1 letter position where the letters are not all different. At least 2 letters will be the same, and that will give you your starting point for figuring out what each letter means in each question. But you'll see that when we go into the explanation and the practice questions. So that's the first thing to look for. Look for 2 codes that have the same letter in the same place. In this case, the codes for shape 1 and shape 3 have a letter in common, so let's look at that. We've got a D there and a D there, and we've laid it out here as well so you can see. Now that means we're going to see something that's the same in this and this that's different in this. And obviously in this pretty basic example question, you can see that these are white and this is black. So going forward for the rest of the question, D in position number 2 means white fill, and E in position number 2 means black fill. Now that we've got that, there's only one other letter to look at, and that difference is this, well, they're different in all 3. So you've got different, 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 and the first one different, different, different. So we've got to see what is different about all 3 of these shapes. We've done the fill, so the only other difference is the actual number of sides or the shape itself. So we're going to say A means circle, B means triangle, C means square. Our code shape, or our question shape, is a black circle. So let's take one change at a time. Is the fill black or white? In other words, is it D or E? It's a black fill, so the second letter is going to be E, which means the first letter standing for circle is going to be A. So A is circle, B is triangle, C is square. The code is AE. So that was the explanation and a pretty simple example question. Let's move on to the questions that I've made specifically for this video. We're going to start with a basic 2-letter code question, and we have QR, SD, QD. Now, going back to what we just looked at, we can say that look for what's the same. We have D and D in shapes 2 and 3. What's the same in shape 2 and 3 that is different in the first shape? Obviously, that's a white fill. So R is going to stand for black fill. Is our code shape black or white? In other words, is it D or R? And it is black, so it's R. Any option that doesn't have an R, I'm going to eliminate. So get rid of that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. We've got our answer already, but let's just go through and look at the other option. The other letters are Q, S, Q. There's something the same in the first and last that's different in the middle. Well, first and last have the star point pointing up. Middle has star point pointing down. Q is pointing down. Q is pointing up. S is pointing down. Is our code shape pointing up or down? It's pointing down. So yeah, SR is our answer. Question 2, another 2-letter code question. We have BL, CM, and AM. Okay, again, second letter the same here and here. That clearly stands for a white fill, which means which means L stands for black fill. So we're going to eliminate anything that doesn't end with an L. Get rid of that and that and that. The first letter is B, C, A. What's different about all three of them? Well, clearly it's the actual shape or number of sides. So what is our code shape? Our code shape is a pentagon, and that means C stands for pentagon, A stands for square, B stands for hexagon. So C, L should be our answer. We can eliminate that. Question 3, this is our final two-letter code question, and then we're going to move on to 3s and 4s. So we have G-O, J-Q, K-O. The second position has an O in the first and last shape, but a Q in the middle. What is different about this compared to these two? Well, this is like a plus sign, and this is a multiplication sign. So is our code shaped like a plus or a multiplication? It's shaped like a plus, so we're going to go with Q for that, and we're going to eliminate anything that doesn't end in a Q. Okay, we've got rid of 2. And then the first letter we have G, J, K. Now, what's different about all three? Well, one has 1 spike filled in, one has 2, and one has 3. G is 1, J is 2, K is 3. Our code shape has 1, so G is our first letter. Eliminate anything that doesn't have G as the first letter, and our answer is B. Okay, so those were the basic 2-letter ones. Let's move on to a 3-letter one. So the 3-letter ones, the principle stays the same. Let's try and find some letters that are in the same position. That's very important. Same position that are also the same letter. We have, I'm going to highlight them in different colours. We've got a C and a C in there, and we've got an H and an H in second position. Third position, they're all different. Okay, so let's start with C. What is the same about this and this that is different in this? Well, clearly there's a shape in the middle. So C must stand for dotted small circle in the middle, and L must stand for nothing. Now, if you really need to, you can write these things out. You could say C equals dotted circle, L equals no circle, and you could make a list of all the different meanings of the codes. I'm going to transfer this straight into my question while it's fresh in my mind. We have a question that our code shape has nothing in the middle, so that's going to be L. Anything that doesn't begin with L we get rid of. Okay. Next we can move on to the other letters that are the same. Position number 2 has H, H and P. What's the same about these two that's different about this? Well, the main big shape is dotted in these two and solid in this one. Is our code shape dotted or solid? It's solid, which means means H. Anything that doesn't have an H in the second position we get rid of. And there, by using elimination, we've got our answer before even looking at the third letter, but let's look at it anyway. So we have F, U, and X. What's different about all three? Well, obviously it's the shape. F is for hexagon, U is for pentagon, and X is for triangle. Our code shape is a pentagon, so does it end in a U? Yes. Question 5, we do have a 2-code question. However, it's this late on in the game because there is something extra in this question that we're going to look at. So let's see if we can figure it out. We have A, B, C, and S, W, S. Well, obviously we're going to start with the things that are the same. What is the same about these two that's different about the middle one? Well, the arrow has an extra arrow inside. Does our code shape have the arrow for an S, or does it have nothing for W? It has the arrow, so anything that doesn't end in an S we get rid of. Now, what's different about all three, A, B and C? Well, direction, this is north-east, this is south-east, this is south-west. And is our code shape any of those? No. Our code shape goes to northwest. But yet that's not an option in these. So what do we have to do? Well, we have to make a leap in logic and say that if A is top right corner, B is bottom right corner, C is bottom left corner, then this top left corner, following that pattern, ABC, should be D. And that's our answer here. And it's not BS, because BS would be pointing to the bottom right with the double arrow inside, which we don't have. So it's quite rare, but sometimes you're going to make this little leap in logic to jump from the letters given to you to a letter that isn't given to you. So hopefully that made sense. Let's look at the final question. So our final question for this video is the most difficult, and it's a 4-letter code question. Let's start by looking at what letters are in the same position. So we've got M, N and M, so these two have something. We have F and F here and here, so they have something. And we have W and W, so they have something. Right. Should take a quick look at the shape. So we've got some colours going on, some transparency, some different levels of overlap. We have different shapes going on. So with that in mind, let's take a look at M and M. Now, the shapes are completely different. The overlap is completely different. The colours are the only thing that I can see that are the same, so black at the top and grey at the bottom, which means N must stand for transparent. Now we know this is transparent because you can see the other shape through the other one. We can't tell which one's on top and which one's on bottom. This one could be white and this one could be transparent, or this one could be white and this one could be transparent. We don't know, but that doesn't matter. A code shape has white and grey, so it's none of those. But we do have options for O, which is obviously not included here and here and here. So I'm going to assume that it's O, but I'm going to just leave that for a bit later on. Let's take a look at F and F. What's the same about the first two that's different about this one? The colours are different, the overlap's different. The only thing that's the same is the top shape, which is a square. So I'm going to go ahead and say F stands for square and L stands for pentagon. And we've got a pentagon in our code shape, so we're going to get rid of anything that doesn't have an L in position 2. Alright, 3 options left. Let's now look at this green one. We've got W and W. The only thing that's the same in these two are the fact the bottom shape is a hexagon, and this is Q. So Q must mean circle, W must mean hexagon. We've got a hexagon here. Anything that doesn't have a W as its third letter, we're going to get rid of. Alright, they all have a W as their third letter, which tells me we're along the right sort of lines. So the fourth letter, we've got X, Y and Z, and the only thing that's different in all three is that overlap that we spoke about, because they have same shapes, they've got same colours in different various positions. This has top shape on top, X. This is transparent, Y, and this is bottom shape on top, X. Our answer has bottom shape on top, so that's going to be Z. And we can eliminate that, and that's our answer. And as we can see, like I mentioned earlier, there is that leap in judgment again, because M, N and M, but our answer is O. So M stands for black and grey. N stands for white, transparent across the board. And then again, M is the black and grey. Our code shape is white and grey. That's not an option up here. There is no white and grey. So again, alphabetically LMNO, we're going to make that leap of judgment and say that the first letter is going to be O. So I hope you found that useful. Again, don't forget you can find the free PDF with the code questions for you to practice at home in the description down below, alongside links to these non-verbal reasoning books. If you want to watch another non-verbal reasoning video, click on one of these boxes over here, and don't forget to like and subscribe.